Welcome back to It Ain't Rocket Science. I'm Adam Balkin. The buzz around science, technology, engineering, and math has shown no limits this month, reaching the stars with the Orion launch, fueling a national debate on climate change, and even the president declaring his commitment to getting teens and tweens interested in STEM, be it coding or engineering. He says it's all about the future of the nation. President Obama became the first commander-in-chief to write a line of code earlier this month at an event to kick off Computer Science Education Week 2014. The president welcomed a group of middle schoolers from Newark, New Jersey's South 17th Street School to the White House for an hour of code event, and even got a lesson in return from the students. The president declared the importance of coding and computer science in an online address.
Learning these skills isn't just important for your future, it's important for our country's future. If we want America to stay on the cutting edge, we need young Americans like you to master the tools and technology that will change the way we do just about everything. That's why I'm asking you to get involved. Don't just buy a new video game, make one. Don't just download the latest app, help design it. Don't just play on your phone, program it.
The Hour of Code is a coding tutorial program organized by Code.org and reaches 76,000 classrooms across 180 countries.
In 1 hour, you can't teach a kid to become an app developer or a computer scientist, but in 1 hour, you can give them enough to realize that this is more fun than I think, this is easier than I thought, and even though I'm like 8-year-old, and not like a genius, I can do it. And then once you have that, especially, this is something that girls do and boys do, and it doesn't matter what color your skin is, what age you are, and it just sort of captures people's imaginations.
At the event, Code.org announced a new public-private partnership with the National Science Foundation to expand computer science education in schools. But coding wasn't the only STEM discipline on display on Pennsylvania Avenue this season. Engineering enthusiasts across the country competed in a 3D printed ornament competition to get their creations on display at the White House. There were 5 winners in all, and each had details with historical significance. This one, titled Presidents of Christmas Past and Present by Antar Gamble Hall of New York, New York, has 44 stars inlaid in it to represent all the presidents of the United States.
This type of 3D technology is just going to continue to grow. We're basically just scratching the surface with this technology and a lot of the things that, of course, can be done using this technology.
And the science and tech wasn't limited to the halls of the White House. There's even a way you can see coding in action around the nation's capital. Google's Made with Code is getting girls across the country to code, along with the chance to light up one of the trees around Washington, D.C. The effort to get this country's young women involved in science, technology, engineering, and math does not end there. An event at the Paley Media Center in New York focused on what some very accomplished women have to say about getting girls into STEM. You might recognize her as co-host of the CBS mid-morning talk show The Talk, or the voice of Lana, a spy in the animated series Archer. But in her spare time off the screen, Aisha Tyler is also an avid gamer. And her message to young girls is, it's okay to be into something that's traditionally geared towards boys.
You kind of see the pushback over women in gaming, and you realize that there are people that, for one reason or another, don't want you there. I do believe in standing up for what you believe in and being passionate about your interests, and I'm passionate about gaming, and I refuse to let that go. So in that way, hopefully I am a role model, and I can also show other girls that if you love these things, it's okay to be proud of it, it's okay to proclaim it, it's okay to wear it on your sleeve.
The talk was about how the media portray women in science, technology, engineering, and math, and was part of the Paley Impact series, with panelists aiming to break down traditional gender stereotypes.
How do we feel that we really could change to have more positive images of women who are coders or hackers or computer scientists on TV?
The moderator of the panel is the CEO of a company called Girls Who Code, dedicated to teaching young women computer science. She says it's important to increase visibility of women in STEM careers.
We've had almost a 20+% decline in women going into computer science over the past 30 years. And so we want to change that. And by putting in more popular images of young girls that are coders that are pretty and attractive and smart at the same time.
These STEM leaders weren't alone in their effort to change the equation when it comes to girls in STEM. More than 100 7th grade girls attended the annual Girls Summit in Malta, New York. Local educators and professionals taught the girls about various STEM disciplines, including cables, coding and nanotechnology. Organizers say the event is all about building problem-solving skills and empowering young women.
Well, women are underrepresented in STEM careers. They're still only 25% of the population. So we really need to encourage them to help build up the next generation so that they can have their voices heard. And who knows what type of awesome products will be made once we have more women in the field.
The event was part of a partnership with Girls Incorporated and Time Warner Cable's Connect a Million Minds initiative. And some young girls in Austin are not worried about appearances as they steer their way into creative engineering. Our Elise Underwood checks out how a group of 8th graders is nailing down the basics of how a car works.
It might be a down ramp, but the future is looking up for these driven 8th graders from Austin's Ann Richards School for Young Women Leaders. These race cars started as STEM projects in the classroom. They're not quite as impressive as a Formula One car, but the principles of creative engineering are the same.
Is that good?
In this case, being full of hot air is a good thing.
This is all like balloon air operated, so because it's really heavy, it's kind of harder for it to go fast, accelerate on a straightaway, but it does work well on like downhill and steeper ramps.
I definitely learned more about like cars, mostly like how they can move and what forces act upon.
They started by figuring out what to use without spending money and using only recycled materials. For Isabella Thomas, seeing her dream come to life was the best part.
You actually see it like being made, and then you actually have kind of a more general idea of what you want it to look like.
Part learning, it's part leadership skills, it's part teamwork, and it's really a lot of fun.
Like an F1 team, they had to learn from setbacks.
And say, oh, well, this didn't work, so let's try this. And it just really helped like your brain learn like from your mistakes.
And while there might not be many females in the Formula One world,
I think girls can do anything that they want to do.
From the classroom to the racetrack, for It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Elise Underwood.
And that E in STEM goes even further. Engineering is a vast field, and in North Carolina, some students are standing out in an international arena. Litsa Pappas shows us how these young engineers are taking genetic information to a whole new level.
This is an opportunity that no other high school gets to do.
No other high school in the country gets to compete in an international competition with college teams. They're called iGEM, or
International Genetically Engineered Machines Team.
And they spend hours of their free time every week outside of school to conduct these experiments.
It definitely puts more of a perspective on it. You feel like you're not just doing it to get a good grade. You're actually learning to help solve a problem.
Solving problems like detecting contaminated water after a coal ash spill.
We're looking at sensors to detect heavy metals in water.
A science project that could help areas affected by coal ash like North Carolina.
And we were plasmid prepping E. coli and 2 versions of our cadmium detector.
The iGEM team has been around for 6 years here at Gaston Day School, but this is the first year the team won gold in an international college competition with this presentation.
We were in the same presentation slot with one of the finalists from Taiwan.
Aside from winning gold in the iGEM competition in Boston this month, this team is also getting hands-on experience for high-tech jobs.
North Carolina does have a biotech industry.
And these students already know this experience will get them there.
And it actually inspired me when I grow up. I want to be a biomedical engineer because of iGEM.
For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Litsa Pappas.
We have to stop here for one more quick break. Then, coming up, a new interactive exhibit at the Museum of Math has students seeing equations in action, and we check out a group of students who are turning trash into treasure and building some jamming bots that rock as they roll. Remember to check out the Connectory at connectamillionminds.com during the break to find more science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities in your community.